The next important item to include in the employee handbook is information around the attendance policy within the organization. Details given around attendance are important to inform employees in order to track attendance appropriately and also protect the organization. The information covered in this section includes federal and state required leave policies as well as common policies within organizations. It is important to review and understand all policies required by states which your organization operates. The main topics that we will present in this section will include the following: requesting time off, unexcused absence policies, bereavement policy, information around the FMLA or Family Medical Leave Act, jury duty policy, and finally the military leave policy. So let's get started.
Policies around employees requesting time off need to be detailed and documented in the employee handbook. Some organizations have approval workflows for requesting time off for employees. Typically, this will require the employee to gain approval for time off from their manager, and in some cases, the department manager as well. This allows the team to plan for coverage when employees are out if necessary. The handbook should note that the purpose of the policies that oversee requesting time off are intended to assist managers with staffing plans. The handbook should then transition to discuss that time off which is not approved based on the approval process is considered unexcused absence. Many organizations have policies around unexcused absences that can result in disciplinary action and even termination of employment. Any policy such as this should be detailed within the section of the handbook. There should be a number of days which is associated with each level of punishment. For instance, an organization can determine to place an employee in disciplinary action when they have more than 3 unexcused absences. In addition to unexcused absences, organizations should also detail their policies for tardiness.
The Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, does not require payment for time not worked, including funeral or bereavement leave. The policy for bereavement leave is determined by the employer. Bereavement policy should specify which employees are eligible to take bereavement leave, as well as whom they can take bereavement leave for. In many organizations, employees receive a set number of days if they are eligible and can receive bereavement leave when there is a death within their immediate family. It is important to define what the immediate family is within the policy for who is eligible. For instance, an organization can define immediate family as spouse, parent, child, sibling, or grandparent. Any family outside of this definition does not qualify under the bereavement policy, and the employee may be required to take a personal day depending on the organization's time off policy.
The Family Medical Leave Act, or FMLA, applies to all public agencies and companies with 50 or more employees. Organizations that qualify under the FMLA are required to provide an eligible employee with up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave each year for any of the following reasons: for the birth and care of a newborn child of an employee, for placement with the employee of a child for adoption or foster care, to care for an immediate family member such as a spouse, a child, or a parent with a serious health condition, or to take medical leave with the employee when the employee is unable to work because of a serious health condition. Employees are eligible for FMLA after they have worked for at least 12 months for their employer, at least 1,250 hours over the past 12 months, and work at a location where the company employs 50 or more employees within 75 miles. If the employee does not return to work following the conclusion of FMLA leave, the employee will be considered to have voluntarily resigned. More information around the Family Medical Leave Act can be found through the Department of Labor link below.
The Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, does not require payment for time not worked, including jury duty. It is the responsibility of the employer to determine their policy for jury duty leave. Most organizations support the employee's civic duty to serve as a member of a jury and will compensate for absence caused by jury duty. If your organization opts to compensate for time away caused by jury duty, it is important to note up to what period employees will be compensated for time away. Example, the employee may receive 1 week, 2 weeks, etc. It is also important to note the process that employees are expected to present their jury summons and the time frame for notifying their manager once they receive their jury summons.
The Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, or USERRA, protects civilian job rights and benefits for veterans and members of reserve components. USERRA provides that returning service members are reemployed in the job they would have been in if they had not been absent for military service. The Act requires the individual receives the same pay and benefits as when they were initially employed. Ensure that the process for notifying military leave is listed within the handbook, as well as the process for reinstating employment upon return from service. Additional information around USERRA can be found in the resource section below. Additional resources around the information presented in this attendance section can be found below.